Okay, welcome back. We're going to be doing now case number 13.1 just to show you some of the ways you go about applying. So for that, those exercises, we're going to use this one here. So this is L'Expérience. So just choose that one and open it up. So you'll see the thing open up now. As you can see, it's confirming that everything opened up. So if we go through the first question, the first one says, Jeff wonders if the restaurant is more appealing to women than it is to men, or vice versa. Perform the proper analysis. So here it is clear that what you're trying to look is at basically independent t-test, because you're looking at a group of two. So it would be the gender, which is female or male. So when you go here, you would do analyze, compare, independent t-test. Okay, and we're trying to figure out if they like it. So the question you want to use probably is this one here. How likely would it be for you to patronize the restaurant? Okay, so this will be the test variable. For the grouping, we're going to be using gender. And so you'll be looking for gender somewhere around here. Right here, there's gender. Again, as you're going to see that it's telling you to actually define the groups. Now, just to make sure that I know which one that is, I will go to variables, then I will check gender. What is your gender? And then you have here male is 1 and female is 2, so it's different from the one before. So then you will put 1 for males and 2 for female. So now you have defined all this. You don't need to do anything else. So we just click on OK, and this is what you're getting. So the first thing you will notice is that these means are fairly close to each other, which already is going to give you an idea that maybe mean is not going to be a good way, or that gender is not going to be a good way to differentiate between people that want to patronize this type of restaurant. So then you will go down here. As you are looking here, this is the first number you will look at. So as you can see, this is bigger than 0.05, which means we're going to be looking at this line right here. This is the number that we're going to be looking at. Okay. So basically, by looking at this number, we can figure out that right here, that 5.38. 77, so which means that basically the number is larger than 0.05, which means that then you're going to be accepting the null hypothesis. When you accept the null hypothesis, that means that you are accepting the fact that there are no differences, which is already something when you from the previous one. So by looking at that, we know that now gender will not be a good way of differentiating this. So some of the stuff you would do before you, for example, you were to present something like this is that you will make sure, for example, if we do this, you can actually use that boxes. This is question 1. This is exercise 13.1, question 1. Okay, so that way I know exactly what I'm looking at. And then right below this, you would actually add the interpretation, which is gender is not a differentiator for individuals to patronize this restaurant. Okay, and again, the reason is that, as you can see, while there is a very slight difference in means, it is pretty clear that it is not going to be working that way here. Okay, so there's one way of looking at it. The next question, which will be then, you would just add another thing here. So you put question 2. You know, let's just make sure it's bolted, and let's make it a little bit bigger, maybe 18. So I know where I'm looking at. So basically, the next question says, with respect to the location of the restaurant, is the waterfront view preferred more than a drive or less than 30 minutes? So in this case, you are going to be doing a pair sample t-test, and the pair sample t-test is going to be comparing those two scales. So the first one will be waterfront, the next one will be drive less than 30 minutes. That's pretty much all you have to do. This is what you will get here. Okay, so when you do a pair t-test, you're going to get 3 tables. So this one here you don't need. So I would suggest that you delete that one right away, so you don't have information that is irrelevant. You would also delete something like this as well. So that's, when you do PDF the file, it's not relevant. So the first thing you look is at the means. As the mean, as you can see, there's a difference. Now, what we don't know again is that if these means are statistically significant. Therefore, you have to look down here. When you look down here, you will find this number right here. So this number would actually provide you with information that this is statistically significant. So once you have actually done this, you just go back here, and that means that yes, the difference between these two statements are different in such a way that if you were to target one group, you could differentiate those groups that said that they prefer waterfront view versus the people that drive less than 30 minutes. For example, if you were faced with the option or either setting up your restaurant in a waterfront versus someplace that was more than 30 minutes, it would be preferable to choose the waterfront view versus situating the restaurant at a distance that is then less 30 minutes. Okay, so that would be question number 2. So question number 3, again here, we'll put something like this. Question 3, okay, well, let's make it pretty, highlight, let's make it bigger as well. So that's what you have right here. So question number 3 says, with respect to a restaurant atmospheres, the string quartet prefer over a jazz combo. So it will be the same kind of thing. So it's a pair sample t-test that you're trying to conduct here. So you just get that one out. And then we're looking at, let's see, where is it at? String quartet right here, and a jazz band right here, okay? Again, take this one, just remove that one. So you're looking at these ones. You can see there's a huge difference in means, but even when you see a difference like this, you still need to know if it's statistically significant. So looking here, we can figure out that yes, it's statistically significant because you are rejecting the null hypothesis, okay? Meaning that the means are significant. If you have to choose between one or the other, you are better off choosing the jazz combo than string quartet for the people that are participating in that restaurant. Again, you will clean up a little bit more here, okay? So this is what you have right now, okay? So let's move to question number 4. So question 4, you have right here, okay? So question number 4, there you go. In this case is what about unusual entrees versus usual desserts? Again, same thing, it's a pair t-test, so you just take all this out of the way. There you go. And then you look for the unusual entrees and then unusual desserts. You do like this, you get this. Again, the middle one you take out. You have this one, you'll see that the means are pretty much the same, so most likely it's not going to be, but again, you need to know in order to significant. So when you look at this, you can conclude that that the differences are not significant, meaning that you should accept the null hypothesis. You should accept the null hypothesis, meaning that there is no differences between those individuals. So if you're trying to attract patrons to this restaurant, offering them unusual entrees versus offering them unusual desserts will not make a difference in their participation or their patronization of that restaurant. Okay, so again, by having something that is above 0.05, you are accepting the null hypothesis. By accepting the null hypothesis, it means that there are actually no difference. Again, let's clean this up a little bit, and let's move to the next one. So the next one will be question number 5, and that will be the last one we do for this exercise. So question number 5, it's going to be requiring us to use an ANOVA. And in this case, it's asking you, in general, upscale establishments are more appealing to high-income households than they are to lower-income households. Is this part in the case of this type of restaurant? So we're going to go over here, compare. Okay, so we're going to need to do an ANOVA here. So we're looking at how likely are you to patronize this type of restaurant. So this will go over here. Then the factor that we're looking at, what we have to consider is the household income. So here we'll be looking down to the household income, which is marital status, which is the factor. There we go. So it will be this one here. Then don't forget that you need to choose the post hoc, which in this case we're going to use the Duncan post hoc multiple comparison. Okay, so once you get this, you push yes. Okay, so the first thing you're going to find is over here. This is confirming that yes, there are differences, and then you will go over here, and here you're going to be basically focusing on these two right here. So this is telling you that anybody who makes more than $100,000 is more likely to patronize this type of restaurant. So as you can see, this is actually the ANOVA, the one way. Let's clean this thing up a little bit. Before you submit anything, of course, you will have to actually type what's going on here. So in this case, you would type here, this is about water prawn. So yes, there is significant differences between the people that prefer waterfront view versus individuals that prefer drive less than 30 minutes. Meaning that in this case, for example, you will most likely choose waterfront view over the distance that the people have to drive. Here, when you're looking at this, it is pretty clear that there is differences. Individuals prefer the jazz combo instead of the string quartet. Okay, so that will be the other one. So again, you have to actually explain what you're seeing here. And this was here, you're comparing usual and trend. I guess you're getting the idea here. So in this case here, you will say, okay, the individuals good job with an income of 100,000 or more are more likely to patronize this type of restaurant. Okay, so hopefully this will help you understand what's going on with differences and how we go about using differences. Again, you will use ANOVA when you have more than two groups. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different groups because we're looking at income. You will use the pair t-test basically when you have two scales that you want to compare. So you're comparing two tests, and then you will use the independent sample when you're trying to look at two different groups. So it will be two different groups. Okay.